Hi, this is Andrew again. I serve as a spokesperson for Nehemiah Reset. Today I wanted to explore the role that God plays in the lives of Americans. Americans are increasingly minimizing the role and influence of God in their lives, with a minority of only 40% who believe he exists or influences human lives. As a result, fewer American adults put God at the center of their lives, view their relationship with him as important, or rely on him for daily guidance. According to the latest findings from researcher Dr. George Barna and the Cultural Research Center based on the American Worldview Inventory 2025, this shift, removing God from the center of American life, is being seen inside the church, with the role of God becoming less important to people of faith. But the findings also indicate this shift is bringing a dramatic loss of reliance on God among Americans generally. In fact, among all adults in the nation, only 16% say God is the most important element of their life. Fewer than 1/3 or 31% claim God is actively involved in every moment of their life. 9% contend they have an intimate and interactive spiritual relationship with God, including constant two-way communication with him. And only 14% say he has total influence on their life today, such that their life and choices constantly reflect his influence. These latest findings follow on the heels of a blockbuster report released in February revealing that while 71% of adults believe in the existence of one or more gods or spiritual authorities, far fewer said they believe in the existence and influence of Jesus Christ. Only 59%, or the God of the Bible, only 40%. Barely half of all adults, 54%, said they worship or follow Jesus Christ, with only 1/3, 34%, saying they worship or follow the God of the Bible. That earlier report also identified more than a dozen other deities that Americans presently believe in and worship, ranging from Mary, Braham, and Satan to Allah, Mother Earth, the triple goddess, and the universe. At the same time, 3 out of 10 adults do not believe in any kind of spiritual beings or authorities. The deterioration of belief in the God of the Bible is dramatically affecting the role that God plays in the lives of those 40% who still believe he exists and affects people's lives. The current role of God in our lives, most Americans do not believe in the existence or influence of the God of the Bible. Currently, just 40% believe he exists and affects human lives. Of that minority of Americans who accept the existence or influence of God, the findings show that they express the following perspectives. About 8 out of 10 said that the God of the Bible is either the single most important element in their life or an extremely or very important element. Here's how that breaks down. Among qualified respondents, those who believe that God exists and affects human lives, 38% said God is the most important element of their life. That was followed by 23% who said he is extremely important and 18% who cited God as being very important in their life. 1 out of 7 adults described him as somewhat important in their life, with 5% saying God is either not too or not at all important in their life, and the final 3% noting that his importance varies by their circumstances. About 3 out of 4 said the God of the Bible is actively involved in every moment of their life. Adults who were significantly more likely than the average to say God is actively involved in their life included integrated disciples, 99%, adults who are highly active in their faith, 95%, people who believe absolute moral truth exists and is impervious to conditions, 92%, theologically identified born-again Christians, 85%, those who read the Bible at least weekly, 85%, and individuals who regularly attend either a Pentecostal, 87%, or evangelical. Church, 81%. So what does George Barna think about these statistics, and what do they mean? With the nation experiencing multiple waves of hardship and challenges in recent years, Barna suggested that it is impossible to separate those difficult times from the nation's divorce with the God of the Bible. God created the world, he gave us life, and he remains king of that domain, the researcher commented. Yet, despite 2 centuries of irrefutable blessings to America, Over the last 3 decades, significant and growing numbers of Americans have questioned or outright rejected his authority and his life principles. Choices have consequences, and the hardships we have endured and will continue to face are connected to our ongoing and increasingly bold spiritual affairs with false gods and the elevation of self, he explained. Barna noted that he was especially struck by what Americans say they do not receive from God. The fact that more than 3 out of 4 people who believe God exists and is influential in their lives nevertheless do not get their identity from their relationship with Him explains a lot. The fact that 2 out of 3 people who believe in God's existence and influence do not believe their connection to Him comes with responsibilities delivers additional insight, Barna noted. Discovering that fewer than 1 out of 5 of the people who acknowledge God's existence and influence are aware of any life boundaries that God provides to them explains even more, he continued. Finding that 2/3 of those who believe He exists and is influential nevertheless say that God has not given them power to serve Him and pursue His agenda reveals even more about the deceptions and weakness of American Christianity. And the list of startling insights into a Christian faith that bears little resemblance to biblical teaching and to God's intent could continue. Barna, the author of numerous bestsellers about the spiritual contours of the United States, admitted how disconcerting it has been to dig deeply into the survey data regarding people's views of and response to God. When you put all of these insights together and understand who we have fashioned the God of the Bible to be, a deity reconfigured into our own image in order to fit within our personal comfort zone, the trials and tribulations, as well as the multifaceted demise of the nation, come into sharper focus, he lamented. It seems obvious that political, economic, legal, or institutional improvements are not what America needs most desperately today. Those cultural arenas merely provide prescriptions that address the symptoms, but not the disease, Barna explained. The more time you spend thinking about what this research tells us, the more you are likely to conclude that nothing short of sweeping national repentance and spiritual renewal can save America from itself, he said. Thanks again for watching this video on the role that God plays in the lives of Americans. I hope that a new survey will show, as a result of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, that more and more Americans will take the role that God plays in our society more seriously. To learn more about this topic and other biblical worldview ideas, visit our website at nehemiahreset.org or our rumble.com channel. Have a great day. My name is Mark. I am one of the spokespersons for Nehemiah Reset. The prior video was sponsored by Nehemiah Reset, a 501c3. Our mission is to assist Christians in developing a biblical worldview as it pertains to relevant cultural and biblical issues. We seek to inform Christ's followers, equip them, and mobilize them into action to vote for their biblical values and to actively engage in our culture. We are also committed to help Christians and non-believers to develop a better biblical view. Nehemiah Reset produces videos and ebooks to assist members of the church in developing a biblical worldview when it comes to cultural issues. We produce videos on key topics like public school indoctrination, the woke agenda, sex education, equity and inclusion, climate change, immigration, religious freedom, and much, much more. To learn more about Nehemiah Reset or to watch our latest videos, go to our website at nehemiahreset.org or our rumble.com channel. We produce 2 to 3 videos every week. To get a weekly list of our latest videos, sign up for our weekly newsletter by going to nehemiahreset.org/email and subscribe. You can support our website by liking our videos, subscribing to our channels, or helping us reach more people through tax-exempt donations. Thanks for your help in growing God's kingdom and bringing more people to Christ. Thank you for your support and help. Come back again soon. Have a great day.